Hey, how excited, bro. Again, not to just continue to harp on FanDuel, the boys going independent, but this is the next chapter. We're in it. And for people who are curious about the whole sellout headline, people act like Barstool was shooting with us in the gym the entire time. Like we were standing this thing up before Barstool. They identified a great asset. People called us sellouts when we were going to Barstool.
Yeah.
Now that we're going independent, like we're going fully independent. And for people who are having trouble wrapping their brain around it, it's like here's an easy example as I can give. We were on the phone last week with our sales and everything else, talking about like what partners we're going to be working with. Like this deal that ultimately we're in, when people are like, oh, money this, money that, like we're going to be making like over double what Barstool was able to offer off the few partners that we now have. Mm-hmm. Whereas last year, the offer that we have all encompassing for Barstool, we worked with what? 30 different partners.
Yeah.
So at times we felt like we're just saturated with our content because we're making so many.
Well,
hey, we sold this.
You feel that way, but
that.
you also see in the comments too. People are like, hey, why are there so many ads? Why is there so much this? And it's like we weren't in control of that process.
We do what we're told.
Yeah, we do what we're told.
yeah, we do what we're told.
Contrary to popular belief, we were good soldiers.
Yeah. We were incredible soldiers.
Yeah, we sit there, lay on the grenade.
Yeah. So getting to be picky, getting to kind of just do our own thing, and again, we're making the website, we're going at it with our own merch, but just to kind of be a little bit more selective with our partners in the future. We're able to do that. We have full control, and we get to do it with the support of FanDuel. And I mean, it's fucking exciting.
It's awesome, man. It really is. It's gonna be a fun few years. See where we can take this thing, run around.
See what we can do. I mean, the boys talking in the back of the bus. There's some whispers of a short bus podcast.
Yeah. Working title. As of right now, Short Bus Podcast.
Comments are flooding in saying, I need it. Like I need to breathe.
Oh.
Okay, Mitch.
Oh.
That's not me saying, that's the comments that are saying.
That's the comments.
Which you love
that's
to see
because
the tier ones are out there.
Yeah, I mean.
We're fired up.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe our episodes get some numbers.
Well, Mitch in his competition with episodes and other brands.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not fighting for something to chase after, then what are you doing it for?
Amen.
The love of the game, man.
It's a quote graphic.
Get on it, Coop.
Hey, Mitch is acting different. Hungover Mitch is different. Put the glasses on, Mitch. Put the glasses on. Damn.
Hardly fit.
Yeah, no doubt. You better get those back, Sherm, before they break.
Yeah, it kind of hurt my eyes.
What do you say, G?
We can cut it if not, but do y'all want to tease the video that y'all are working on?
The video will play
at the beginning.
Before at the start of this episode.
Do y'all want to talk about making it?
The video is fun to make.
And
boom.
No, like making the video, it's like you know going into the video, it's going to be a big announcement. You're wanting anybody, whether it's the tier ones, the stoolies, people who follow the podcast industry, people who just want to know our story. It's like we wanted to craft a video that kind of like told our story. So getting to go back to where we shook hands at the Best Walk Chinese restaurant, getting to go back to the gravel parking lot, the shed behind the abandoned church, getting to hit all those spots. And the guys who were shooting it too, Sherm, JP, Jared, guys who hadn't fully grasped all the history with Bussin before we became where we are now. It's like we wanted to kind of capture all of those things in that video, announcing our, awesome partnership with FanDuel. So that's kind of like what we were wanting to hit on.
Yeah, that was really well put. There's not a whole bunch to add for that, but like my favorite part of making that video was between takes, kind of reminiscing on the gravel parking lot, all the train that's going by right now. Hey, every Bussin With The Boys podcast, you're gonna get the train. Then going to the shed, walking inside the shed, it's literally like a time capsule. Like our old seltzer, our Hunter Briley, one of our first sponsors, being able to see all that, it's like literally nothing changed. We left and no one's been in that shed since we left like 3 years ago.
It was unlocked.
It was unlocked. And then, the church, the abandoned church, it was awesome to film. It was a fun, like full day of really being able to break all this down and seeing it and then watching it come together the way it has, man. It's awesome. And anybody who like tunes in for the first time, if they're like fans of Jelly Roll or Ernest, or they just seen like some rumblings going on about us going independent, they just want to check it out. Like it is a great snapshot to see like how these last 5 years have gone with Bussin With The Boys. And it's cool to see this next chapter and what's gonna happen next. We don't know. We have an idea, but there's just so much opportunity out in front of us, and we're excited for everybody that's joining.
And just
this whole
talking
thing
about some of them old stories, like renting a fucking generator
Yeah.
So
Just to save
stupid.
costs.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's rent first because we don't know. We just
Right.
don't. You don't know where shit's
You
gonna
don't
go,
know.
man.
You don't know. No clue. And I remember thinking like in the beginning, Will put in, you bought all the cameras and mics and everything like that. I just paid for the bus and to gut the bus and get it all kind of done up. I remember thinking to myself, man, if I can make this $10,000 back,
Yeah.
that's a good investment.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a fun, good investment. And to see it truly turn into a career, it's awesome. And it doesn't happen without people watching every single week, subscribing, unsubscribing, commenting, all those things.
And seeing where the industries went too, and I'm not saying like we were the pioneers in any of this, like who knows if people were pulling inspo from it, but just to see where the industry's at, where athletes are now having podcasts, like it was so foreign at that time.
Yeah.
Because again, the only true inspo as from athlete to podcast media was McAfee. And McAfee being a Pro Bowler, having the big time contracts that, he talks about like his comedy tour, like he had a lot of things going already that allowed him to just be like, oh, this is going to be the move to retire because I have shit I can do.
He saw it in front of him.
Yeah, he saw it in front of him where it's like, he's like, I can make this money. Like, this is no big deal to walk away. To where I know me personally, I'm sitting back, it's like, you're kind of going like, hey, we don't know if this podcast is even going to take off. Like, let's figure out if you can, play football while trying to stand up some podcasts.
Right.
And just seeing it all unfold the way it has with just the inspiration and the blueprint of a Pat McAfee. And also when you look back like JJ Redick in the basketball world, but there really just wasn't anything going on. And see where the industry is at now with athletes having their own thing and doing their own collaborations, whether it's podcast content, vlogs, YouTube channels, whatever it is. It's just cool to see that we took a shot back then because it very much felt like a shot that we were very insecure about at first.
And there's a point in this video where it's very quick where you see me and Will talking in a team meeting and Vrabel standing in front of us, pissing off Vrabel. I cannot stress to you how much anxiety took place when we were sitting in team meetings when the podcast first started.
Well, it wasn't even we.
Yeah, it was me by myself.
I'm an unemployed free agent.
Will was an unemployed free agent, and then they'll walk in during OTAs after Delaney Walker talking about almost dying from an IV, and walking in, the trainers looking at me like, "You're a fucking piece of shit. Like, what are you trying to soil us for?" And I'm like, "I'm not trying to." He told a story. He's alive. And then you go into a team meeting and Vrabel pulls up a clip of me and Will sitting on a bus with Delaney in a gravel parking lot. Our first episode. And he's like, "Guy, listen, it's great. You guys want to start your media thing? That's awesome. But like, let's just remember the keys when we're talking. Now that you are the media, let's talk about the keys, how we handle ourselves." And you're just sitting there. There's 100 people, upper management, guys that just got drafted. There's 93 players, and then another 20, 30 staff, and you're just feeling you're all alone. And everyone's like, what the fuck is Taylor doing? What an idiot. Because you just sit there.
Rule number one is like, don't do anything that hurts the team.
Right. And Delaney tells a story about almost dying of IV. And not only did he tell a story, I doubled down and said, yeah, me too. Jags game, Thursday Night Football. I remember feeling terrible because too much air got my IV.
And we're like, that's why you need to get like third parties with IVs and stuff like that. You kind of just put the training room in such a tough spot.
Just absolutely. And then when you went to the Raiders and you called me and you're like, dude, there's this rookie named Max Crosby who's like about the show. Yeah. And just thinking like all the way across the country and in Oakland at the time, there's people that are watching the show and embracing it. And then us being, and I don't know if we and are
tasting the bubble outside of Tennessee, because even though I wasn't on the team when I'm sitting and watching you guys, because again, that was the year you ended up going to the AFC Championship, but you started off like 2-4. Like when I'm sitting there watching you guys lose, all I'm thinking about is, fuck, man, I hate that we got to put out another episode. And I don't even want to ask Taylor to do an intro.
Not only that, the first season Bussin With The Boys came out, I was suspended for the first 4 games. Sitting at home. And they're like, this fucking guy in his podcast, he'd rather do I'm like, I really want to be on the field. And dude, the second guessing, the being like just scared about everything. Like Will and I would get off the bus. We would do like 3 episodes in a row to backlog for the season. And we, on our car rides home, would be on the phone. Be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? That was kind of stupid. No, it was fine. I think it was fine. And it's like this game of insecurity of us trying to fit a puzzle piece to see where the next thing is. And I don't know if it's like a lot, like we always go back and forth. Like, were we the first like players to start a podcast, or were we not? Like, let's just say we were. Let's just say we were. It's so cool to see now in 2025 that everybody's got a podcast. And whether we were a big piece of that or a small piece of that, like it is so cool to be a part of like the changing of media. and to sit on this bus and be able to change the landscape of media, whether it's 0.5% or 80%. It's awesome to give the voice back to the players, and the players taking that and being like, well, everyone wants to tell our narrative. Why don't we tell our own narrative? That's why Bussin' With The Boys has been successful, is the people that come on, they sit here, they talk to us, they say things, they feel comfortable to say things with us. Then they get off and they're like, I didn't like this or this. We don't keep it and say, oh, sorry, you said this, so it's going to come on the show. It's like, let us work with you to make sure that you feel comfortable coming back on again and again.
Yeah.
That's why you see so many recurring guests on Bussin' With The Boys. So it's awesome. It's awesome that you guys get to see that 3, 4, 5 minute video of how this whole thing started.
Just a snapshot of,
It's
because
badass.
again, it's like we stood this thing up. It wasn't like we pitched an idea to a network and then you go in and they own all of your stuff. We were able to position ourselves in a great spot to where now it's like reaping those benefits to where the #1 sports book in America wants to be our presenting sponsor on Bussin' With The Boys.
They believe in us enough to put all their shit on our shit.
Yeah.
And put us on their app and be like, please help us grow this brand. It's like, how fucking cool is that?
Yeah.
And, we've worked with them. For a couple months now, we've been in talks, figuring out how we're going to launch this thing and everything. Like, it's going to be fucking awesome. It is going to be awesome. And it'll be fun, man.
Yeah. And with the boys too. Like this crew that's sitting in here. Like there's going to be a vlog dropping, I assume this week or soon, about how the boys have been able to feel a similar impact that we have from the deals we've got.
Don't say too much doing the vlog.
They'll get the
But
the vlog.
And obviously you boys know how much we love you. We tried to explain it to you when we all sit down on this bus and talk to you guys. Like, you guys have been like such a big part of how Bussin' With The Boys has been successful. It's just because Will and I are on the mic, like editing the videos, like late nights, like planning all these things out. Will and I being idiots at times and fucking stuff up, having to redo custom socials, having to go back because we put the kick on a couple years ago and getting yelled at by Dave and all those things. Like, thank you for everything. We really appreciate y'all.